Hello, viewers. Today we are joined by a man who wears many hats and wears them all like they were tailor-made for him. Rajen Garabadu isn't just an internationally acclaimed TV producer with 3 decades of production and storytelling experience under his belt. He's also a mentor to hundreds, a thought leader in creative communication, and now an author who's stepping out from behind the camera to share his script on life. His book has already grabbed the attention of some of the sharpest minds in the media world. Rajen, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
It's truly a pleasure to have you here. But before we dive into your book, let's talk about the man behind the creative powerhouse. You worked in television for nearly 3 decades, producing thousands of hours of content. How has your journey from a correspondent to the creative head of a network to a storyteller been like?
At the back of the mind, I was always a storyteller. I would love telling stories to people around me, mostly friends, family members, cousins, mostly youngsters. Some of the stories resonated with people, with readers, and that kind of led to this book.
Now let's talk about promotions. You've had your share of successes, but you're also talking about an instance where a double promotion in your case backfired. Now, without giving too much away to our viewers, can you tell us how you handled that without letting the bitterness overshadow the lesson?
When I was in the nursery class, my principal and class teacher invited my parents for a chat, and in a closed door room in which I was present, mentioned that they found me academically, fairly ahead vis-a-vis the other students, and they felt that maybe it was neither fair on me or fair on the other students if we were in the same class, and they gave a proposition to my parents whereby they were willing to double promote me while they promoted the other students to the next class. It was an option. My parents had a choice. They went back. Obviously, parents being parents, and Indian parents, obviously, they were very happy. I distinctly remember my father going home, chatting with a very dear friend of his on the phone. That time you had landlines, and telling him this. And then finally he takes the call that he accepts the double promotion. And obviously, that was done with good intentions. They obviously wanted the best for me. But sadly, it didn't quite work out that way. What went wrong, what happened thereafter is for readers to read the book. I'm not going to give it away.
Rajen, let's quickly dive into the AMA section. We have some burning questions from your colleagues and your ex-colleagues. Let's take a look.
Hello, Mr. Rajan. Congratulations on your book. In your book, you had written about Mrs. Das, one of your teachers. Do you think people like them who give negative remarks about you give an impact on your life negatively, or they help you in growth?
Okay, a good question. I think at that point of time, I took it I won't say positively, because this is something when that statement is made in public in front of the whole class, it's kind of demoralizing. But it also challenged me because nobody likes to be pulled down. Nobody likes to be told that you're a loser or you will fail or so that's something I think which kind of charged me up. And it so happened that amongst the subjects that I appeared for in my school final, I scored the highest in that subject.
Yeah.
And I think that's possibly got to do with the fact that she challenged me.
One of my favorite chapters, your nugget, quit if you don't like it. It's bold, especially in today's job market where job scarcity often trumps passion. But do you really think that this advice still holds relevance for young adults in today's era where job market is scarce and you might not have the luxury of choosing fulfillment over a stable paycheck?
True. I think there is no one answer. At 21 years, you've just come into the professional workforce, and you look at things very differently.
Right.
And so I think some of my reaction stemmed from that. But one thing I was very clear about, that something where my heart doesn't lie, and even my skills don't lend myself to the task I was being asked to do or what I was expected to do. So to carry on with something like that, which you don't have your heart in it, at the same time you're not even suitable for that kind of a role. I didn't see any point carrying forward that, and I got a sort of hint that that would be required as part of my job role, and I would not be able to sort of ward it away. So I said, if that is the case, then I will walk away, because this is something which I don't want to do. If I had to do sales, I would have joined sales. That's exactly what I told my boss.
It was really a brave decision at a very young age. But we have another question from one of your colleagues, which is also relevant to a similar kind of a situation. Let's play it out for you.
Under this heading, what truly counts at workplace, you have said that ultimately it's not the salary or the designation that defines your career success. It's the positive impact you make, the relationship you build, and the integrity you uphold. This is the real wealth in a career, the legacy you leave behind, and the lives you touch. I get the integrity bit, yes, of course, the integrity you uphold and the lives you touch. Fantastic. I totally get both these points. But it's not your salary or the designation that defines your career success. I mean, do you really believe this? I mean, will anyone buy this, you think? I mean, that salary won't matter? I mean, this is something, this we need to, talk a little more. I would like to hear from you. What do you mean by that?
No, I don't think I said or I hinted that salary doesn't matter. I was talking about my body of work, my years of work, and thereby I said that the professional wealth that I carry forward is not the amount of money that I made over the years or the designations or the positions I held, but the people whose lives I touched and the work that I did, which which resonated or which was appreciated by people within and outside the organization and the viewers. I think that is what I was trying to say.
What's your takeaway for the current generation, the younger generation, on how they should be dealing with the kind of trauma, societal pressure that you were dealing with in the building years of your career, when you felt a little, you were taken aback with your double promotion? How were you dealing, and what is your message to the younger generation?
Be open-minded, listen to everybody, but take your own call, make your own call. It's your life, only you decide.
Now let's talk about Rajan, the leader and the manager. You've managed to mentor hundreds of people so far in the last 3 decades. And let's be real, who mentored you on how to juggle the chaos with a smile to begin with?
I wish I had an answer for you, and I don't want to take away from anybody, but there was nobody as such who did that. I think a lot of it I learned on the job, by experiencing, by living the life that destiny threw at me. And I think most of what I picked up were insights from my own experience.
This book is enough for us to be providing us some insightful details on how to deal with life. But clearly, I need a crash course at this point of time. But now it's time for another AMA segment. Let's hear out this one.
Hi Rajan, congratulations on the book. What are the qualities you look in a talent while building a team, and how do you mentor them for leadership roles?
To me, the soft skills matter more, because while the technical skills can be taught, can be learned, but the soft skills, actually everything can be taught, everything can be learned. But the soft skills kind of defines the kind of person that you are and what you bring to the table. So to me, it's always been your approach, your initiative, your enterprise, your integrity, your ability to play in a team, your basic inherent honesty. I think these things put together is what I look for. It's obviously that doesn't mean that skills don't matter. Of course they matter, and but somewhere I tend to put a premium on these soft skills.
So, Rajan, in your book, you're offering actionable steps from things to follow to steps or certain set of things and advices to refrain from, right? Which step do you find the most transformative in your own life?
I think listening. That's something which, it may come as a surprise and nobody talks about it. I have mentioned in my book as the most underrated skill, and that's across. I don't think we talk about it enough. And I think this is something which most of us suffer from not being able to listen the way listening should be. Active listening, being completely present in the conversation. I can tell you that I have tremendously benefited from just this single attribute. Nobody's told me this. I have not read it anywhere. I have not heard about this. It's actually somebody who, it's something which is inherently me. But I have realized now that why I make such a big hue and cry about this is because this is a habit which so few people are able to practice.
At what age or at what phase of your life did this dawn upon you that, okay, listening is one of the skill set that might help me grow in my career? And how has it actually helped you? Could you share in
Very early. Very early. This is one of the things which I probably, because of inherently the kind of person that I am, I tend to hear more than I speak. I don't like the sound of my voice. I don't like to talk too much.
Do you believe your book is more about sharing success or teaching how to embrace failure?
I don't think I, consciously planned it that way. I've just, packed it with some life instances without really doing a sort of a mental calculation of are there more successes or more there. I think it has a bit of both. The whole idea is that whether it's a success or a failure, it's a learning, it's a lesson, and that lesson is something which can help the reader.
On that note, we have a question from one of your colleagues who would like to learn something from your lessons too. Let's play it out.
Hi, Rajan. So I'm just curious because how your book talks about taking something positive from every sort of experience that you've had, big or small. And did that sort of optimism always come naturally to you as a person, or was it something that came with age and experience?
No, it didn't come to me naturally as a person, and it's not, it's not like everything that comes my way I take it positively. That's not true. That's not how I am.
But have you come across a situation where you have also, like you've mentioned a couple of times in your book, that there will be phases in life where you feel that you're stuck? Have you come across such a situation where you felt, bas, ab nahi hoga?
Yeah, of course.
How were you able to navigate through that?
Yeah, so that in those times, I think sometimes good counsel, listening to somebody advice, some colleague, some senior who possibly is more objective than you, because while you are in that situation and therefore you are reacting in a particular way because you are in the situation, the other person is able to keep that emotion aside and view the situation purely from the very objective lens. And at times, I have turned to a couple of people, and I've been very fortunate and lucky. I won't call them mentors in that sense, but these people have given me advice where I have actually done stuff which, if I didn't take that advice, I would have possibly made a mistake.
Could you tell us something more about this particular advice?
Yeah.
And has it made to any of the nuggets?
Yeah, it is. It's there in where I mentioned about a incident when I was a younger producer, where I was called by the big bosses, the promoters of the company I was a part of, and I was told that there are issues, there are complaints that have come from my seniors to them, and I wasn't given an opportunity to defend myself. When I tried to mention that that please hear me out, I was told that no. So at that point of time, I felt like my time was up. I listened to the counsel of somebody whom I respected, and somebody who's seen many more years and is able to distance himself from the emotion that I was going through and tell me that no, I think you got it all wrong. I think just stay the course, and I think things will be fine. And things were fine.
Well, Rajan, you're giving one lesson for living, and you're telling us more about the power of simplicity. You've emphasized simplicity as a superpower, but in a world, especially the industry that we are also working in, rewards complexity. How does one stick to keeping it simple to amplify the message without being perceived as playing it safe?
Essentially, when you're dealing with sending the message out to people, to a larger audience, the simpler it is, the more easily it connects.
Rajan, you've created a community on digital platform where you've been sharing these nuggets from the last few months. You're almost going to touch down 150 nuggets in the month of January. 45 you've been able to roll out. How have you picked up and why have you picked up these just 45 to be published in a book to begin with?
I looked at 5, life segments in that sense, which is something which can, resonate with most readers. The kind of stuff that people tend to relate with. And from those topics, from those larger topics, I picked up the pieces that sort of fitted into that overall messaging. So these are not my best, my best nuggets in that sense. Some of them are not.
Okay, but what's the most personal story in the entire book that you didn't think you had shared, but eventually you did?
The one where I talk about, praising my wife. I think that is something which is, and that's not me. If people who know me, and it's not like I don't want to, but you tend to, I'm the kind of person that I am. I will praise you, I'll praise others, but I won't, I find it difficult to praise my own self or my family in that sense. So a lot of times, I would see that, where she deserved recognition, if not praise. This is something which should have come her way spontaneously and easily. I hadn't in the past. And on a number of occasions, I felt, and I would see some of my friends being much more generous. But, I would kind of pull her leg, and, it was all in fun. But so one day, after 17 years of marriage, on our wedding anniversary, I decided to compliment my wife in public when I have even perhaps not even complimented her properly in private. So when she woke up that morning, the nugget was already published.
Right.
And a friend of ours who had read it had shared it with her, and she didn't know what we were talking about, and it came to her as a surprise. But this is something which, to me, it was very difficult.
How did she react after reading it?
I think disbelief. Because,
most of the wives, I believe.
Yeah. It was almost like, has he really done that? Is it really out? Or, how did you do? Is there something else? Because that's not who he is.
Right.
That's not. Of course, there was. She was happy, but she took time to actually
Sink it in.
Process the fact that I had actually done that, and that too in public after 17 years of marriage. But thank God I did that.
Right. Okay, we have an AMA related to this itself. Let's take a look at that first. Hey Rajan, congratulations on your book, and I loved reading it. Nuggets from your lived experiences, especially that great principle that you have advised us. Keep it short, keep it simple. So important for our profession. A quick question, you mentioned about the conflict between career and family, something that we all go through, and especially married couples. I wanted to ask you that as you reflect and introspect while you were writing this book, if you had to go back in time and make those decisions all over again, would you have given up for Gargi? Would you have taken a step back and encouraged her to pursue her dreams, her goals, and encourage her career trajectory?
Tough question. When you're in a nuclear family,
Hmm.
leaving your child with somebody else, which could be it could be a nanny or it could be anybody else who is helping you out in that period. When the child is unable to express, because even when you come back home, the child can't even tell you if something has happened. My wife was gracious enough, very kind enough to have taken that call. I think I'm just deeply grateful that Gargi took that call. But if she hadn't done that, could I have, Avantika? I wish I could say yes, but that wouldn't be true.
Now we've come to the rapid fire segment. So Rajan, voicing views or getting published, what's the bigger flex for you?
Getting published.
If you had to pick between simplicity and perfection, which one wins for you?
Simplicity.
Well, what's a bigger lesson, a failed promotion or a missed opportunity?
A missed opportunity.
All right. Would you rather have a room full of followers or a handful of skeptics?
Handful of skeptics.
If Mr. Mishra were here today, what would you say to him?
I would just say to loosen up a bit.
Autobiography or Nuggets 2.0?
Nuggets 2.0.
All right. On that note, that ends our rapid fire round. So let's take a look at this. Another Ask Me Anything from one of your colleagues.
Hi Rajan, so I read your book and I must say that it is not through the looking glass. I'm not transported to a different geography where I get to know something of where a writer has so beautifully written a piece that I get transported to that side. It is a story of me because I have been in this profession. I know what you're talking about. Every experience that you have, in fact, mentioned, I'm living through it. The Sarah experience where you talk about your daughter or you're talking about you being the caregiver for your father, all of that is something which is so close. I really want to understand that this story of you, the story of us, the relatability, how did you even think of probably penning all of those down and then thinking that it'll find so many takers like me or many like me who must have read the book and must have thought that this is my story. Because I never had the courage to probably pen down my life like you've done and share these nuggets, these experiences, and so beautifully put them. And they're so normal.
Thank you, Griha. Writing gave me an opportunity. It gave me an outlet to, document some of my thoughts, insights, and learnings. And, I felt that because these are episodes which could be Griha's, it could be Kuhina's, it could be anybody else's. So this is something which will 100% resonate with the reader. The challenge essentially only was to get the reader to read.
Mm-hmm.
Because why would the reader pick up a book? They have the option of many other books. My daughter, who is a voracious reader, also pushed me. I think that was the last, if she hadn't pushed the way she had, I perhaps in this book may not have come out in that sense, because I am somebody who doesn't want to put himself out there. It's more, it's more about, so these are stories of readers. I'm only presenting them from my own lens, but these are not my stories. These are stories of any reader who is reading the book.
Every chapter is so intriguing that we had a couple of questions more to go. But last question for you is, Rajan, your book encourages readers to transform their lives. So if you could give one piece of advice to your 20-year-old self, knowing everything that you know already today, having lived all of these experiences, what would it be? And would that young Rajan have listened to it?
I would ask the 20-year-old self to read this book. And not to promote the book or increase its sales, but it is, I just feel that this has a lot of learnings for somebody at that age. I wish I had these insights, I had these experiences when I was 20. I would have been in a much better position to take some decisions. I was able to face life better, much more confidently. And I think, it would have benefited me enormously. So please pick up the book. It's just 229 pages, 44 chapters. Each chapter is not more than 4 or 5 pages. So read it, take your time. You can, the chapters are disconnected from one another, so you don't have to read it in a go. You can read it, you can take your time to read it. But it is something which will certainly come in handy at some point of your life, is my advice to them.
Like you're already penning it down, one nugget at a time, one story
Yeah.
per day. Right. Thank you so much, Rajen, for speaking to us. Rajen, your wisdom, humility, and warmth are truly inspiring. I'm sure our viewers have also loved all of these interactions on the nuggets, and they will have a lot to take away from today's conversation. Like I personally was able to resonate with, felt a lot of stories that felt like very personal and had a lot of wisdom to take away. Well, thank you for sharing your journey with us through your book and especially through your blogs on LinkedIn, where you've created a small but very impactful community for yourself and for others also. Thank you so much once again for speaking to us. And viewers, go buy your book and do let us know what questions you have in the comment section below.